Morning and excuse me, welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting. We will begin, as is customary, with an observance of a moment of silence. Thank you. Please rise for a pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, we have some visitors with us this morning, and we'll begin this part of the agenda. Before we get into the formal part of our program today is public comment. And so if you'd like to introduce the players here today.
Good morning, and thank you for letting us come today. My name's Karen Dundor-Galata. I'm the founder and director of the St. James Players, and we received money through the hotel tax grants, through the commissioners, and we always teach the children to say thank you when we receive generous gifts. We were able to put on a fairy festival. The very first person I met at the fairy festival was from Arizona, who said he saw our billboard and decided to stay an extra day and go to the festival.
Yay!
So I met a lot of very nice people there from all over, and we are very appreciative for that money and putting on the festival. So our show opens August 2nd at the St. James Players at the Lebanon Valley Mall. And today I brought 10 cast members. We have about 27 cast members, but I knew we wouldn't fit into this room. And we are going to sing a song for you. And we have with us the Lost Boys, Wendy, Peter Pan, and Michael and John. And we invite you to fly away to Neverland and be a child again.
Oh, boys, we won. Pirate ship is ours. Yay! We won. Now what, Peter? Does this have to be to be pirate? Yes, and I'm captain of this ship. Whatever you want to do, you can do. Whatever you want to be, you can be. Whatever you most silly rules, you don't bother you. Do whatever you want, whatever you want, whatever you want. Like, I want to be a pirate, sail a step, yowdy ho, do exactly as I please. I'll be a pirate too, but a nice one if I can. I'll sail around the world. Whatever you want to do, you can do. Whatever you want to be, you can do. I know silly wants to honor you. Do whatever you want, whatever you want, whatever you want. Like, do you all want to be pirates? I want to be a doctor. I want to be a cop. I want to do some magic tricks and open the shop. I want to be a maker. I want to be I want to do what wonderful plans. But you know, you can't do any of them here in Neverland. Why not? Because you have to grow up to do them. We want to stay here and have great adventures. But don't you see, growing up is the greatest adventure of them all. Whatever you want to do, you can do. Whatever you want to be, you can be. There's a new world in store for you. You gotta grow up to see. What about me? It's the exact nursery, Peter. There's so much fun we had. No, Peter. With John, we've already taught Mother and Father. I can hardly remember them myself. I don't see what's so great about having a mother anyways. Please, Peter, take us home. Oh, all right, go on. I don't care. Take him home, Tink. And I don't care if I ever see you again. Ever, ever, ever. Yes, Tink. Take us home. Whatever you want to do, you can do. Whatever you want to be, you can be. Fun in store for you. You gotta grow up, you gotta grow up, you gotta grow up. Well, well.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate you being here, and that was a very nice surprise for us. Thank you. Looks like our money was well spent. And the only disappointment I had was none of you want to be a county commissioner, but that's all right. I do understand. But thank you very much, Karen, and your team for putting all this together.
Thank you. Keep up the great work. Thank you, parents.
Great deal.
I think everybody's like that.
Come on. I'll be sitting there. Yes, I'll go back. Come on.
I'm having here.
People are out uncomfortable out of their seats.
Oh, that is.
Warm.
Okay, we'll continue with our meeting with the approval of the minutes of our June 6th meeting and our workshops from June 5th and June 12th.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes as presented.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. And we approve the minutes as presented. Any deletions, additions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, so ordered. Good morning, Sally. For our treasurer's report.
June 18th and June 19th of $3,324,050.77. Our total cash claims is $8,326,640.10. Our expenditures this week are $155,712.58. The tax claim is $45,182.96, leaving us a balance of $5,125,744.36.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report subject to audit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the treasurer's report as presented. Any questions or comments? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you. Good morning.
Morning,
Introduce yourself and you may proceed.
Shaw Snavely, Director of Human Resources. Under personnel transactions, resignations and terminations, Morgan Ernst, Child Abuse Investigator and Children and Youth resignation effective June 7th. Wanda Perez, Caseworker 1 and Children and Youth resignation effective June 10th. Michaela Blatt, Full-Time Correctional Officer at the jail resignation effective June 13th. Jared Musco, Full-Time Correctional Officer at the jail removal, resigned before first day, effective June 17th. Alexander Getch, Corporal, the Lebanon County Correctional Facility, resignation effective June 7th. Jasmine Garcia, DJ Office Support 1, and DJ Figueroa, job abandonment, effective June 10th. Elvira Gonzalez Dominich, General Clerk C and Clerk of Courts, resignation effective June 28th. Destiny Lightfoot, Casual Call Direct Support Aide at the Renova Center, termination effective June 13th. Catherine Metzger, Casual Call Direct Support Aide at the Renova Center, resignation effective June 10th.
Make a motion to approve those resignations and terminations.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those transactions. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
The leaves of absence, J. Arenas, Area Agency on Aging, 1 year intermittent leave of absence effective May 1st, 2024, with a return date of May 1st, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the leave of absence.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that leave. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Under changes of status, transfers, and promotions, I have several motions. The first, to create an on-call stipend within the Department of Emergency Services for the operations technician positions that are conducting coroner transports at $3 per hour to be paid to no more than 2 employees per hour.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve that motion. There's a typo in there.
Yeah, I see that.
Any questions regarding this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, so moved.
Motion to approve the Director of Planning, Julie Shaney's request to reclassify a current vacant Building Code Officer 2 position at a grade 14 on the non-union salary chart to a Building Code Officer 1 position at a grade 12 on the non-union salary chart effective immediately.
Make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve Director Cheney's request. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, so moved.
Motion to approve Chief Public Defender Megan Tidwell's request to permit her administrative employees the ability to work overtime and to be paid for the time in accordance with the union collective bargaining agreement at time and 1/2 for all hours worked over their normal workday. Maximum overtime hours worked per week shall not exceed 10 hours. Hours worked shall be Monday through Friday, no weekends, effective June 24th, 2024 for 6 to 8 weeks.
Make a motion to approve that request.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Post same sign, so ordered.
Heather May, promotion from full-time direct support aide at the Renova Center to therapy aide at the Renova Center at the rate of $17.78 per hour, effective June 24th.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that Renova request. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Post same sign, so moved.
Under other transactions, Children and Youth would like to hire the following 3, all as caseworker 1s, all at the rate of $1,562.16 biweekly, all effective June 24th, and that is Derek Stolfitz, Victoria Roberts, and Julia Downs. Children and Youth would like to hire the following 2 as casework manager 1s, Bailey Van Fleet at the rate of $2,463.80 biweekly, effective July 22nd, and Anna Marquez Rodriguez at the rate of $2,774.64 biweekly, effective July 22nd. The Department of Emergency Services would like to hire the following 2 individuals, both as operation techs, both at the rate of $13.05 per hour, both effective June 23rd, and that is a rehire for Jeremy Leffler and a new hire of Cassidy Vasquez Castro. And the District Attorney's Office would like to hire Ryan Adams as a detective at the rate of $2,708.01 biweekly, effective July 8th.
Motion to approve those transactions.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and it's been seconded. Any questions, Jamie?
Just one, if I missed it, sorry, but the Bailey and Anna are rehires also for children and youth. So,
Oh, okay, those are the 2.
yeah, glad to have them back.
Hit the ground running.
Anything else on that motion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, so moved.
Moving on to Salary Board, motion to approve all transactions previously read plus the following. Todd Hirsch, longevity payment detective sergeant in the detectives unit of the District Attorney's Office. One-time 8-year longevity payment of $1,345.99, effective June 28th. And Leslie Ortiz, interpreter pay assignment, Secretary Dean, the Public Defender's Office, interpreter stipend of $1,500 annually prorated from the effective date of July 1st, 2024.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve those transactions of Salary Board. Any questions regarding the motion? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, so moved. Anything else, Michelle? That's it. Thank you.
Before you move, I want to ask a request. I had just this morning circulated this letter on the
Yeah.
commission for the 250th.
Yeah.
Received it yesterday. It's not on the agenda as a result. So could you, according to the solicitor, it's not too late. Could you take a motion to add that to the agenda? And I'll do that later.
So moved that we had this letter of consideration.
Yeah.
Regarding the 250th anniversary celebration committee.
Appointment of the commission, yeah.
To formalize the committee, I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
It's on the agenda. Thank you, Solicitor.
Thanks.
Good morning. May introduce yourselves and then proceed with the proceedings.
Good morning. Holly Leahy, Administrator for Lebanon County Mental Health, Intellectual Disabilities, Early Intervention Program.
I'm Sue Douglas. I'm the fiscal director for Lebanon County MHIDEI, as well as the Drug and Alcohol Commission.
And we're here this morning to present several budget-related items for your review and your approval. We'll begin with fiscal year 2023-2024 contract amendments. There are 17 amendments in total. That's 7 for intellectual disabilities, 5 for early intervention, 1 for mental health, and then there are 4 building related. The total is $204,921. And those would be covered through our current budget and allocations. So we are not seeking any additional county tax dollars for these expenditures.
Motion,
I'll make a motion to approve the contract amendments.
Second.
been moved and seconded that we approve the provider contract amendments for 23-24. Anything else for the state? If not, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Next, we have our fiscal year 2024-2025 agency provider contracts. There are 94 contracts in total. The amount is $5,825,622. This represents an increase of $465,121 compared to fiscal year 2023-2024. If we slightly break that down to the 3 programs, overall, our mental health contracts, which total $3,115,216, were increased by $262,043, or 9.2% over fiscal year 23-24. This is due to increased housing programs, and then also it shows a decrease in our contract for our psychiatrist, which offsets the housing programs. For intellectual disabilities contracts, that's $1,066,926, or decreased by $42,594, or 3.8%, as we continue adjusting units for providers based on historical usage. For our early intervention contracts, that's $1,538,702. Increased from last year by $226,666, or 17.3%. Mandated services must be included in our contract. So the main service to increase is special instruction, which is almost always county-based funded as MA or medical assistance, does not pay for this service. We also have a new contract this fiscal year for an early intervention administrative position, totaling $78,781. And finally, then for support service contracts, that's $82,667, or an increase by $17,445, or 26.75%. This is due to our ever increasing cost for services. So again, that is a total of provider contracts of $5,825,622 that we are requesting your approval this morning.
Motion,
I'll make a motion to approve those contracts.
Second.
okay, these 24-25 provider contract amendments. Any other highlights that you wanted to mention?
Well, next, I would like to review our agency budget, and then I have some more information to share with you this morning.
Very good. All right. Well, any questions regarding this motion?
Comment that as a, those are the numbers, as a percentage, it's 8.5%. I think.
Yes.
Increase. Is that right to you? Okay.
Thank you. Not all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, so moved.
In conjunction with our provider contracts, we would like to present an overview of our fiscal year 2024-2025 agency budget.
So I'll do some highlights for that. Our expenses increased by 234,704 or 2.75% and are now agency-wide $8,780,951. We are still using utilization factors to reduce certain budgeted provider contracts, continuing to recognize the need to contract for services that may not be used, but must still be available for client choice. While provider contracts have increased, we were able to reduce other line items to keep the total increase to expenses at a minimum. Looking at revenues, I really want to highlight this. Our projected revenues of $8,383,587 are up $720,188 or 9.4% from our previous year, 23-24. The highlight is that 574,614 of this increase is mental health reinvestment funding from the Health Choices system. These funds are from current reinvestment projects designated for Lebanon County. And I really must emphasize that these funds are not permanent. They're not long-term. And this short-term, time-limited funding is a tremendous help to our budget, but does not address the ongoing need for permanent, sustainable mental health-based funding. If I could, the history of the mental health-based funding. So the most recent increase was in 23-24. The state approved $20 million statewide for mental health-based funding. That total of what we received for Lebanon County was $187,000 out of that 20 million. Now that was, the history is that back in 2006 was the last time that we had received an increase to our mental health-based funding. And in 2012, we received a 10% cut. So while, we recognize that we did get an increase, $187,000 does not truly fund what is happening here. Again, 574,614 are short-term, time-limited health choices funding. And without additional state funding, it will be extremely difficult to balance the budget moving forward. So this year is a good year. We have those funds and we're very grateful for those funds, but we stress the need for additional state funding for the mental health-based funding. So if we look at the deficit, it's encompassed within the mental health and the intellectual disability programs, which expect a deficit of expenditures over revenues totaling $377,364 agency-wide. So that's between the mental health and intellectual disabilities. For the total deficit, this is a projected decrease of $505,484 over last year's budget. But again, if we emphasize that that decrease is mostly due to the mental health choices reinvestment funds and not due to any increase in the mental health or intellectual disability funding. So when we look at the county funds, when adding the deficit, that $377,364 to the required county match contribution of $387,256, this equals $764,620. Now, if we were, again, we're going to say, if we added in that $574,000 of health choices funds, we would be looking at a deficit plus the county match of $1,339,000. So even if legislators approve another $20 million statewide here in fiscal year 24-25, with our share, again, being $187,000, it really will not put a dent into our deficit, giving us no ability to expand services or initiate any new innovative services. So this budget this morning is a good budget, and we're really pleased to present this budget this morning.
In summation, we are seeking your approval for our fiscal year 2024-2025 agency-wide budget, which includes $600,000 in county funds to cover the required county match and the deficit to the mental health and intellectual disability-based funding.
I will make a motion to approve the budget as submitted.
Second that for the comment again. Correct me if I'm wrong. We know that it needs to be said, but I think say it anyway, is that you're presenting the budget, the numbers, and the impact on the ability to provide care, but talk to anybody in any human service field, whether it's schools, nursing homes, a prison, anywhere, the need, it continues to rise. So it's a drop in the bucket. And what it really means is that we're going to continue to have challenges in providing the care that's needed.
Yes, and additionally, yesterday we had a prison board. And we know that there's a population being served at the prison. Probably 7 out of 10 inmates are receiving mental health services that are unrelated to this. This is additional cost to the county. So this is a huge investment that we're asked to make, and a huge commitment to those folks to try to get them to a better place. But the funding isn't being appropriated, at least to the extent that we would. And the history of it is really deplorable. And we should send the St. James players up there for a pep talk. It's really, it's just very sad when you look at 2006 that's just such a neglect in light of reality that we face.
Yes, and again, I stress that, getting additional funds of $187,000 in 23-24 doesn't even remotely account for all the years of the lack of additional funding and all of our providers struggling to just maintain the current line of services and supports in our county. So without additional funding, again, to address all the needs in the community, we cannot expand or initiate any new services without additional base funding. It's just impossible. We've stretched our funding to the utmost, and we just cannot stretch it any further to do anything more.
And I'll say that the rates that the state sets for us, especially for intellectual disabilities, we have to pay those rates. Those are statewide, and that's where we are. And there is talk about increasing the intellectual disability rates this year, to the point where I wasn't sure whether I should budget for it or not. They're talking about it, but at this point, I think they're not ready yet. But that could potentially affect the budget as we go forward if they actually approve these new rates. The same with the early intervention program, although I always say early intervention was way behind. We were always running a deficit. The past several years, they have allowed us to do rebudgets, which have allowed us to cover our administrative amounts, as well as covering any additional services that, because the services are mandated, because the children are young, they have really stepped up and given us the funds that we needed. Not so when the marriage and the ID side, absolutely not.
We appreciate you doing so much with so little in terms of increases over the years, and we appreciate your good work and all that goes into putting this budget together. Thank you. Any questions?
I have just a comment if I could.
Yeah, sure.
Just to tie together what you mentioned about the jail of the county, of the top 3 county Commissioner Association legislative priorities. 2 of them are related to mental health. The one is funding, just direct funding from the state, because this burden, this deficit just increases and is placed at the feet of the counties. And when it should be an increase in base dollars on, we're looking at 18 years now since the last increase, with a 10% cut in the middle of that. And then the second priority is addressing inmate mental health issues with inmates. So two of the top three priorities relate to this. And as you said, or Mike said, throughout human services, said this last year. I feel like I'm repeating what I said last year, but it pervades throughout so many of our departments. It's not just this department. It's the biggest part of it, but it's in children and youth. Mental health affects behavior and affects families, and it's at the jail. It's at dual diagnosed people who resort to substance abuse, sometimes because of mental illness. It just goes on and on. It is just a common thread through so many programs, and the cost to the mental health services at the jail are taken out of the prime care contract. So that's a direct cost to the county. We're spending over $3 million a year on that contract. Mental health services are built into that. So it's just an ever increasing cost. The less it's addressed, the bigger the problems get. It's just the state last year threw a nickel at it. And yeah. So, all right, I wasn't going to go on too much.
Thank you for controlling yourself. It is a serious topic for us every year, but it's really when you compare other departments and their increases and just inflation and all the factors that other people in other departments and other parts of our lives we deal with, this seems to be just stands so alone in terms of whatever the 18 years Jay mentioned. So anyway, anything else? If nothing to add, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. So ordered. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Good luck.
Sue, thank you for all your hard work there. You're the number cruncher extraordinaire.
She is. She is extraordinary for sure.
I actually have a team now.
Yay.
We hired another fiscal assistant who we hope to move up, as well as an accountant to concentrate on drug and alcohol as well as MSID. So I am getting a little bit of the burden taken off, and I am so appreciative. Tell them every day, thank you for coming to work today and being here.
You're quite deserving.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Jim Donmoyer. I'm the Executive Director of Lebanon County Drug and Alcohol.
Just for the special occasion, could we ask Terry to come up?
Oh, well, I thought that was after all.
Oh, I
But
just,
we can have-
She could be here. She's been here for 46 years. She could be here.
this is it's good to see Terry here with us. All right, sorry, Jim.
No, that's all right. I'm here for two reasons today. First reason being to present to the commissioners for their approval the 2024, 2025 contracts for our office. I want to let the commissioners know that we have a total of contracts. We have 41 providers that we have contracts with, and that spreads over the state of Pennsylvania to 63 different facilities. At these 63 different facilities, they provide drug and alcohol treatment services to the people that we send from Lebanon County for help. These contracts range from outpatient, IOP services, intensive outpatient services, IOP, MAT, which is medically assisted treatment, inpatient detox, rehab, halfway house, recovery houses, you name it, the full continuum of care that can be provided for somebody. We have spread out in these contracts. So we have services available to the people of Lebanon County who need them. I ask that the commissioners approve these contracts and that they go into effect July 1st.
Make a motion to approve the request as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I just have one comment in contrast to MHIDEI, how the funding for Europe has gone, in a better direction, obviously, than theirs has. So
I think our news is gonna be better than what you just heard. Um,
yeah, yep, certainly.
So I'll get into that.
Let me just we'll do the vote.
Okay.
Is there any other questions regarding the comments?
Did you want to give the total of the provider contracts?
You really can't give a total because mostly we are just approving the rates that the rehabs and detoxes.
There is no
come up
guarantee
with
total.
The total will be different.
Yeah.
Every year for every provider.
Okay.
Nothing else? All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those same signs, so moved. Okay.
Okay, thank you. The second thing I'm here to present is our 2024-2025 budget for our office. I have Sue along with me today. Sue prepared a memorandum that I believe the commissioners as well as Jamie received. And it talks about our fiscal year, the previous fiscal year. Things of note. It's in the memo, but I'm going to just highlight some things here. Administrative costs from the budget that we're currently in and the budget that we're going to be in July 1st increased. Prevention expenditures increased. Treatment expenditures decreased. Now, the reason they decreased is because we're spending less money at the methadone clinic. Intervention costs have increased. Administrative case management and recovery services has increased. With all those things, the increases of expenditures and the revenues, when you take all that into account, the difference between the current year that we're in and the year that we're going to be going into July 1st, it's a difference of $84,169 increase, which is a 3.41% increase on our budget. So our current budget is $2,470,786. And the proposed budget for 2024-2025 that I'm hoping you approve would be for $2,554,955. The increase of 84,169 is primarily for salaries, benefits increases, not so much the overall operational money required to run what we do at our office. So I would ask the commissioners that they adopt that budget for 2024-2025. As always, in prior years, we're not requesting any support from the county general fund.
Okay, motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. And if you go back to 2021, in terms of what I'm thinking here, it looks like maybe over 20% increases, in your total budget.
Yes, I did provide a 5-year outline of how our budget has gone from 1.9 to 2.1 to 2.2 to 2.4, now to 2.5.
Yes.
So
Contrasting that with the MH, funding.
And the good thing about our side with the drug and alcohol and the funding, we get other funds. Our base, just like mental health base, has stayed the same for as long as I can remember. But DDAP and the state source money,
Settlements.
There's other ways to fund our office. And we get the funding to do that. So that's the nice thing. That's why our budget keeps on going up and we don't.
The opioid settlement money is for specific programs and they're new. They are not programs that we had funded before. The SOR, the state opioid response funds, we weren't sure it was a 6-year project and they just told us at the meetings we had in April that they are going to extend it at least another year. So we're grateful for that because that funds a lot of our treatment.
So they can be used to supplement but not supplant. So
Yes, it
We're hoping that SOR money never goes away.
never goes away. If it has to take on another form, that's okay, as long as they keep sending
And
it.
I think the state understands too, because they mandate us to do a lot of things with that. So if they're mandating and then they take the funding away, would not be able to do probably half the stuff that we do.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
I just mentioned yesterday, prison board, there was significant discussion about the MAT program when Tom Weber from Prime Care was talking, and that has quadrupled, as I'm sure you're aware, in participation, and they anticipate it to just keep climbing. So, you know, there are some opioid settlement funds that have gone toward that. So I think you can probably anticipate, you know, more of that in the future.
Yeah, we plan to fund that for 18 years, as long as the settlement.
Unfortunately, we plan on funding it at the same level we have right now.
Yeah. it's
Yes.
probably
You
gonna-
know, there's only,
And I explained to them as they serve more people and the costs go up, we will only be allowed or permitted through our budget to do what we're doing this
Do
year.
new settlements present new
There's a
opportunities?
second wave
Yeah.
coming, so that could factor in where we can do more. But right now, we're locked into making sure it lasts for the 18 years at the amount it is today.
And I know they're looking at the best options for, you know, how to provide the service. So, you know, to control the cost as much as possible between the labor and other options that they're.
Yeah, the different types of, how they administer the medication varies, but the cost goes up with the more convenient way of administering it, I guess, or the
Yeah.
less intensive way of administering it. So anyway.
Okay, thank you. And next item.
So, oh, I didn't know if I had to announce that. I thought you announced that. We are here today. I didn't make a grand speech, Terry, because I know you're not about grand speeches. For honestly, Terry, she doesn't want to be here to begin with. For this, it's not about self-recognition, but Terry has been with Lebanon County Drug and Alcohol for 46 years. We were just sitting out there in the hallway and we were talking about the directors that she's served under. She's been a loyal, dependable employee, a Lebanon County employee, none that I've ever seen before, honestly. She's there every day. She does what she needs to get done. Team player, I can't say enough good things about her. I was insulted in the waiting room by Warden Litz. He asked me if I was with Terry for 30 years now. I said, I've been with Terry for 10 years. And when I first came into my position at Drug and Alcohol, Terry, she had me on check. She had everything organized. She told me the way things were the previous 30 years before I got there. And we went through all that together. And I think our office today is better off. And I really truly believe it's because of Terry and her commitment to our office that our office runs the way it does. So we're here to
Yes,
make a proclamation.
yes, we actually have a proclamation which.
Terry, and we're gonna get a picture, I hope.
oh boy.
We get a picture.
You can do that.
Not for me.
Proclamation.
Ready?
Yeah, Jamie will read the proclamation.
All right. Whereas Terry Rudy began her career with the County of Lebanon, employed as a part-time clerk stenographer at Drug and Alcohol Abuse Unit on July 17th, 1978, became full-time on December 26th, 1978. And whereas on January 1, 1993, Terry was promoted to fiscal assistant. Whereas during her tenure, Terry served the county with devotion and commitment. She performed her duties and responsibilities in a proficient manner, displaying loyalty and commitment to the agency and its mission. Whereas on June 29th, 2024, Terry will retire from Lebanon County Commission on Drug and Alcohol Abuse with over 45 years of distinguished service. And now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners of Lebanon County, on behalf of past boards of county commissioners, past and present employees, and all our citizens, unite to thank Terry for the outstanding service she provided during her many years at the county. Further, we extend our congratulations and best wishes for a most rewarding future and the very best retirement. You're a couple of weeks short of officially 46 years, I
Yeah.
guess, but it's for all intents and purposes 6 years. And that is the second longest serving county employee that we know of in history.
Oh,
You-
I had no
It was
idea.
47, so if you want to hang.
Paperwork was submitted.
I'll make a motion to approve the proclamation. And I'd just like to add that your loyalty has been stellar. Thank you.
Second that motion and Jim mentioned that the agency is better off. The agency is better off. Our community is better off. So thank you.
Somebody has to pay the bills.
That's right.
She's a stickler for paying, we pay our bills.
That's wonderful, and thank you. You were certainly the glue over there over the years and the transitions into new directors and so on, and the steady hand. So we really appreciate that commitment to the county. And we have a motion and a second. So all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Post same signs. So moved. Unanimously adopted proclamation. There you go.
Andy, Rooney.
I
Okay.
think she would like a picture.
Yeah, I would like one.
All right.
Yeah.
Gather that.
Where you going? I don't know.
Go over there.
In the corner, that's usually where. Terry, this is Terry's request for. This is Terry. In the front to Godfrey.
That's fine. That's good.
He's gonna be in the face.
How many years?
20 August. Sally just.
Good.
Terry.
He's gonna be in touch.
Boy, each thing's like this.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's right.
I'm out. Jamie, what's your position? Fiscal
She's fiscal assistant.
Let's see. No, I just need. Thank you.
Next is aging. Okay, thank you.
Had to have my grandson help me carry this in, but
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
Hi, Jen.
morning, folks. And if you, Adrian, would like to introduce yourselves, and then you can go ahead with your presentation.
I'm Adrienne Lacer. I'm the Administrator of Office of Aging.
I'm Jen Eisenhower. I'm fiscal officer.
Today, I'm going to be presenting some updated contracts, some budget information, and the advisory council changes for the Office of Aging for Livingston County. There are 34 contracts listed for services valued at $973,000. Pennsylvania Department of Aging limits its increases to service providers on a yearly basis through the Aging Block Grant Program Directive. This year's authorized provider rate increase is up to 4.5% to the existing rate of contracted providers. Many contracts are not capped since more than one provider is available to provide the service. Service levels are then tracked internally to ensure that they do not exceed the amount budgeted. In conjunction with the contracts for 2024 to 2025, we present a summary of our 2024-25 budget for review. Please note the following. Total revenues and expenditures equal $4.52 million. This is $345,000 more than our original 2023-24 budget. Personnel costs have increased by $469,000 due to the union contract increase in August 2023 and projected 4% increase in the new fiscal year, plus 2 new positions that were created. Contracted services decreased by $110,000 relating to the ending of our service contract with Blair County and forecasting the new fiscal year based on last year's activity. On the revenue side of the budget, we are not anticipating an increase in a regular block grant. What I can say is I was at conference last week and the secretary stated that the federal government ended up paying Department of Aging $2.3 million overpayment to Pennsylvania. And this actually happened with 6 other states for a total overpayment of $8 million. So 2.3 million will be going back to the federal government this year, which the Department of Aging will not have. Funding provided by the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, will not be distributed in 2024-25 fiscal year, which is a loss of 192,000 that will not be happening. So we will continue to pursue opportunities for additional state funding when it would be available. To the contracts that are being presented, there are 6 personal care contracts that are being updated and revised to include some legal language to protect the county and includes the signatures of the county commissioner's approval. There's also an amended contract, which would be for Alpha Aurea, which is a personal care agency that we brought on in April 15th, 2024 as a new provider. So the updated personal care contracts that are being presented are for hands-on nursing, Just Like Family, Right at Home, Bloom Health Services, and the Alpha Aurea. There's also Charlie's Angels Home Care.
We'll break these down to a number of motions. The first one on the budget, you have highlighted in here that as in the prior year 23, you'll be requesting additional county support for the budget. At the same level, or additional meaning in addition to what your budget contains now, or do you believe that the county support for 2025 will increase?
I believe it will increase.
Do you have a sense of that at this point? What that will be? I know we
Just a
had to go up
ballpark.
significant last
Just a ballpark.
year.
Yeah, I don't know as far as, because we don't know what's gonna happen. If we're gonna have to pay funds back with the new error.
Okay,
I don't know how that's gonna affect us. I would say it's probably gonna be at least the same, maybe a little bit more.
we were at 300.
65.
Okay.
Just so we have a sense of.
And then,
Yeah, because we don't know what's gonna happen. That was just announced last week with the 2.3 million that's gonna have to be paid back to the federal government.
that's news.
That was just last week, but they found that out.
Let's keep on coming.
Can you clear mistake?
Yeah. And just to be clear, that was not our local error.
No,
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 it's
okay.
federal. Yeah, federal to the Pennsylvania Department of Aging.
and the ARPA funds, is there a reason, is it just going to be 24, 25?
I think
Or is it ended, because they can spend it until the end of 26, so I didn't know if it was just a hold. Your impression is that that's that.
Yeah, that's what I was told, that was the end of
Okay,
the funding,
okay.
unless something gets reinstated.
So we want to take these in separate motions.
Yeah, contracts, contract amendments, contracts and budget.
Okay. Motion to approve the 24-25 contract amendments. We'll take that one first.
That motion?
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or any further discussion regarding that motion? If not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Now we'll move to the contract amendments. 24-25.
Contracts,
I'm sorry,
contracts.
yes.
make a motion to approve the contracts.
Second.
We need to name the fourth or the sixth contract. Just include that as,
Yeah, yeah, Holly didn't walk through her side.
just repeat that, please.
Oh, okay.
We'll make that part of the motion.
The new provider is the Alpha Aurea. The Bloom Health Services. Just Like Family Home Health Care Services. Right at Home. Hands-on Nursing. And Charlie's Angels Home Care.
Okay. Any questions regarding this motion? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, so moved. Now for the budget. Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve that budget as presented.
Second,
Okay, it's moved and seconded that we approve the 24-25 budget for area agency on aging as presented. Any comments or questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign, so moved. Okay,
Advisory council changes,
yep,
yeah.
you want to add those or go over those, please?
Okay. Lebanon County Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council met May 9th, 2024, and voted on the approved changes to the council. 2 members were ineligible to be able to be reappointed because they already served their 2-year terms. Tim George from Caring Hospice and Carol Levingood, retired consumer and PA Medi counselor. Another board member serving a 3-year term was unable to serve another 3-year term, which was Brenda Snyder, who is a retired consumer. Members serving 1 3-year terms ending June 30th, 2024, and willing to serve another 3-year term effective July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2027 will be Mary Sample, a retired consumer, Brian Smith, Lebanon County Christian Ministries, and Linda Windell, G&L Trophies and Consumer. New appointees willing to serve a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2027 will be Lori Brandt, Vice President of London Valley Chamber of Commerce, Kathy Petrick, retired consumer advocate for Advanced Care Planning Coalition, and Deborah Spencer, retired consumer volunteer. Replacement to board member from Lebanon Transit will be Betsy Steinberger, who will serve out the remainder of the 3-year term from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025.
That was John Calloway
Yes.
on the list.
Make a motion to approve the appointments as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to present those volunteers. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you very much for your good work.
You can save them while the paper. That summary was great.
Okay. Thank you.
You good, Jane? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's a quick contract career.
Morning.
Morning, Warden.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Would you like to introduce yourself and then you can see?
Thank you. Tina Litz, Warden at the Lebanon County Correctional Facility. I'm here to ask for approval to sign a contract with IU13 to continue adult education at the Lebanon County Correctional Facility. In conversations with Tim Shank from IU13, there's been some significant increases on their end based off of inflation. Obviously, like the instructor is the most important, and as you know, personnel typically tends to cost a lot. So when reviewing options with IU13, we talked about fiscal responsibility and where IU13 is in the community and where we are at Lebanon County Correctional Facility. We find value in having the adult education program at the facility. The data does report that it does tend to help with recidivism rates, keeping them on trend to be reduced. So Mr. Shank, gave me a couple different options to be able to go through and present. So what I sent you is a packet for an option A or an option B. Option A is something that it does reduce the hours by 50 per year, but based on my average daily population of about 300 inmates, based off the average length of stay being about 22 days, the reduction of hours is still something with option A contract that I'd be able to sustain solely with the prison commissary canteen. If I would go with a different option, I would probably have to ask for funding, additional funding for the general fund. I don't believe that option is necessarily necessary unless the commissioners or prison board would guide me differently. According to the data, the number of hours that we're currently serving and the number of hours that are presented in option A, it keeps us in the same standard of data of what the community is having as far as like successful tests being taken. We reported yesterday at prison board, there were 37 tests taken within the facility over the course of the year. We had 3 graduates. That data is not that different than what the community is now seeing with the resources that they're providing for the adult education in the community.
So my recommendation, with your approval would be to move forward with option A. The contract would be a 3-year contract. It would go from fiscal years 2024 ending, fiscal year 2027. It would elevate from $31,906.20 year one. Year two, $33,561.51 year two. Year three would be $35,299.59, excuse me. That would be just for the classroom instruction, $35,299.59. When we add in the testing in the packet, you would see two different numbers. For the fiscal years, for the 3 years, it would average or go from $33,016.20, ending last year, $36,499.59. And that would be for that classroom instruction and the testing both combined.
Motion, I'll make a motion to, accept that recommendation from the warden for option A as she described.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. So if you would find that the option A is not, and you need to revisit this, I think that would be logical, considering the changes in, we used to be in the high 400s, now we're in the low 300s, and the 49 days to 22 days average length of incarceration. So, I mean, those are kind of variables that may require a revisit. My question though is, the 3 graduate out of 37 or whatever that number was. Do they, if they don't, is it likely that they will continue with the IU outside of incarceration?
We have a wonderful IU 13 teacher by the name of Ken Travis, and he does a wonderful job guiding them. Like, he makes sure there's contact information to go in. I'm not the expert on they call it high set. Old school is GED testing, high set testing. My understanding, because there's different subjects, that's why there's so many tests being taken, because you have to pass in English and math. And once you pass those all, then you have the bigger test, like the number goes to that 3 testing. We had, a tour. Commissioner Kuhn was there one day. I saw Commissioner Litz there one day. We toured the wonderful new site that's located in the community. And it's amazing how IU 13 has elevated. But again, selfishly, it's easy to elevate for those types of things when you have the funding and the resources and the space to do it. Our schooling inside shares a video courtroom. It shares during the school year, high school education, which is a requirement. And then the teachers work well to do the GED testing. So yeah, they do a wonderful handoff job for the reentry.
Thank you for recognizing Ken Travis. I got to
Yeah.
see him work as a superstar in Lebanon School District.
Yeah,
for many years,
he's
so.
fabulous. I know he would like to take us to elevated directions, but space, financial resources, technology, and what we can and can't do at the facility are always difficult.
So when, to the question, I guess, does Ken provide any follow-up once they leave the facility? Do you have anything that comes from him later and said, by the way,
No,
then probably the tracking?
I'm sure if we touch base with Tim, he'd probably be able to give us that data, but that's not something that we track.
So when they leave, they get all the contact information they need, but they just
That's all.
access it themselves.
Sometimes it's easier, as you know, in jail. It does require a little self-motivation, but it also gives something for somebody to be able to do. So we appreciate that, getting them off the housing unit to be able to use something productive. Obviously, when you get into the community, there's the factor of they have to work, they might have to take care of their family, they have all those responsibilities in the community, and then they have to find time to get into the IU 13 building to continue the education.
Anything else? If not, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Both same sign, so moved. Thank you, Warden.
John,
Oh.
with the big numbers.
Jonathan,
I'll be clean up for you.
sorry, we're out of time, but yeah,
Wait till next round.
thank you, John. Yeah, if you'd like to introduce yourself and your position, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to come and address you. My name is John Fitzke. I'm the Assistant Director and Senior Transportation Planner with the Lebanon County Planning Department. This morning, I'm here to present to you guys 3 resolutions. They're in regard to 3 county bridge projects that I am requesting authorization by U.S. Board of Commissioners for signatory authority for myself to execute a reimbursement agreement for all three projects. These projects in total will constitute $13.419 million. These projects are all three county bridges are programmed currently in the MPO's 2025 improvement program. The funding for these projects 95% of the money will come from the Bridge Investment Program, Federal Surface Transportation Improvement Program, and State 581 and 183 capital local projects funds. So the bulk of the money for these improvements will be programmed through our improvement program, with 5% that will come from county local funds, which can be either Act 13, 89, 44, or county liquid fuels fund. So in order to execute the reimbursement agreement, I'll need authorization from you all to be the designated person that will work in PennDOT's ECMS system to execute the agreement and work with Kathy Baddock, who is our PennDOT project manager on this.
If you'd like to take these all in one motion.
Well, there's A, B, and C. You probably want to take three motions.
Okay.
I would just say that as you go through these, John, and talk about the numbers, well, there's only one number, but this is really just lining us up for this funding. It does not necessarily mean, I want to be careful about this. It does not mean that this funds the project and lines it up. There are no construction design. There's nothing like that. This is years down the road for these. And there is still a process to go through to determine, for example, well, all three of these bridges, by the way, are now closed bridges. Yordy's Bridge just a few weeks ago, it's one of them he's going to talk about, or present. That was just closed, as you'll recall, a few weeks ago. But there's a conversation that we will have between the engineers, PennDOT, the local community, the neighbors, and so on what or if the project should move forward. In some instances, you've got a very low volume bridge, and you weigh the impact or the benefit of the construction against the costs, frankly. So those conversations are yet to be had, but this is necessary to just stay on track. Yeah.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 6/2024A for Gulf Road in the potential amount of $4,800,000.
Sorry.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And John, do you want to just expand a little bit?
Yeah, and I guess just Gulf Road Bridge located Bethel Township, just east of 343. This is a project, I think, to Jamie's point, really what the commitment of resources are is conversations we've had with the program planning staff at the district to allocate this amount of resource. Like Jamie said, the details of the actual project will be hashed out, which we will work with Kathy and her staff and our bridge engineers, Mark and Bill Wilson. But I think at this point, it's merely to keep these projects in place, to get the reimbursement agreements in place and continue to move projects forward.
Just for interested parties that may, have a rooting interest in this particular bridge and these others, is there a timeline? I know you said it could be several years. Can you give a more finite?
Well, and I think to Jamie's point, that could vary, I guess, Commissioner, because if you look at a decision as the owners of the structure, if you wanted to eliminate it, certainly the efforts of designing a new bridge and going through those paces would be much simpler.
I guess that's a conclusion as to what direction we're going in. Do you have a sense of how far out that decision would be?
Well, I think at this point, at least the anticipated will probably be, I think, within 2028, but that could certainly.
Yeah, when we closed Yordy's, that's the timeline that we gave to the neighbors and so on, based on is that not earlier than that, most likely.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions regarding this particular motion? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Or same sign, so moved.
I will make a motion to approve resolution 6/2024B, regarding Lebanon's Bridge.
And this bridge is,
We have a second.
Just was waiting to make sure he was done. Second.
Yeah, this bridge is a steel through truss, located, south and east of, Jonestown Borough. This is one that we kind of have considered similar to our, Inwood Bridge that we did a number of years ago, probably within the same age category. I think some of the discussions that we initially had about this bridge was another one, to Jamie's point, low volume. We do have a lot of, farmers that use that bridge. I think some of the discussion we initially had was whether that could simply be a superstructure replacement where the steel truss bridge could be removed. Same width, same approach, use the existing abutments and, get the bridge ripped. But as Jamie said, we'll have those discussions about, the needs and whether or not, the total resources that we have committed here, go for replacement or some kind of rehabilitation.
Questions regarding resolution B, or Jamie, do you have
The amount is 3,008,000. I'm not sure that was stated yet, but 3,008,000.
nothing further? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, so moved.
And I'll make a motion for resolution 6/2024C, Yorties Road Bridge, in a potential amount of $5,611,000.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any additional comment there, Jonathan?
I just touch on, this is probably one of the larger structures we have, as Jamie pointed out. This has recently been closed as recommendations from Wilson Consulting after, I think, a review of the bridge. One of the things, I guess, about a structure like this is, as we know, they get a lot of debris buildup with the existing pylon that sits out there every time we get a storm event. So it's something we have to deal with on a pretty regular basis. So, replacement or removal, that would certainly eliminate that issue that we have to deal with. As well, the structure, there's not a lot of history on how it was constructed. So from the engineer standpoint, they had to be very cautious as to how to decide when it was unsafe and close it. So hopefully this will be another one that we will.
Anything else? In terms of context, I forget, do we have 12 or 13 that we, 13 bridges? So that this is 3 of 13 that we're addressing today. Okay. Yes, sir.
Where's this one located, John?
This one would be located just southeast of 934. If you're going north of Elgrove or Harper's, years off,
Near Harper's Town.
a little before
A little before that, where 934 and Old 22 started to come together.
Okay. Nothing else, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye, the same sign, so moved.
To put in perspective, it's 13 million, for example, and let's just say that these moved forward and these construction numbers held out, although by the time that would happen, I would guess that inflation has an effect on it. But out of all of this, the 5% county share would be 670,000. So as John mentioned at the beginning, this is largely federal and state funds, and local funds are a small portion of it, which, that funding could come from liquid fuels or from Act 13, transportation, or Act 44, Act 89. I'm trying to keep up with John on what all these funding sources are. But
And certainly for you guys as participants in the NPO, another discussion too is if there are fluctuations like that, these, state and federal funds are ones that we do have additional line items and capacity. So we can certainly deal with them as they evolve, I guess.
Thank you, Jonathan.
final item for me is, as you added to the agenda earlier, this would be a motion to formally create an American 250 PA commission for Lebanon County for the upcoming 250th anniversary of the nation in 2026. And they are proposing and recommending that members to be appointed would be Jen Kuzo, president of Visit Lebanon Valley, Tom Newmaster of Force PKG, and Jan Morrissey of the Lebanon County Historic Preservation Trust of Lebanon County. Letter was presented by Josie Ames, who you already who already appointed as the chair of the committee. So to add those and formalize those members.
A motion to approve those additional appointments.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and at some point we need to talk about county commitment of some budget funds for this effort. to coincide with the money in the DMO. Any questions from the folks here? Any- Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, so moved. Nothing else?
Move to adjourn.
Stand adjourned, thank you.